Greetings, fellow Whovians, and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. In a loose connection to the celebrations of Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, I thought I'd review the 10th Doctor episode, The Idiot's Lantern, originally broadcast on BBC One 16 years ago now at the time of recording, back in May 2006. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Doctor and Rose mistakenly arrive in North London in 1953 at the time of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation. They quickly notice that there are TV aerials or antennas being installed, which at the time was more of a rarity. Also, the Doctor and Rose witness people being taken away from their homes and disappearing. The Doctor and Rose now must find out why people are being kidnapped and disappearing. What is TV salesman Mr. Magpie's real reason for giving away his TV sets practically for free? And his connection to The Wire, an alien entity who is stealing people's faces and energy for its own consumption. I'll start off by saying that David Tennant and Rose Tyler have really good chemistry, which you see throughout season 2 of Doctor Who, whether you sort of like their characteristics or not. I'd mentioned in the previous episode that I reviewed The Long Game that I preferred the Rose Tyler characteristics with the 9th Doctor compared to with her more romanticized characterizations with the 10th Doctor. But that doesn't take anything away from the actors whatsoever, and especially really to Billie Piper, having to, she's the first companion in the modern era of Doctor Who to witness a regeneration and go through those two characteristics. And yeah, again, props to Billie Piper. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of some of her characteristics. I think sometimes the writing, I feel like they just try a bit too hard with her character. So, for example, in this episode, I really like it when she confronts Magpie and that sort of more quieter, sort of quizzical sort of motions, rather than when she was confronting Eddie Connolly, who I'll get to with the family a little bit later in this review. Where she was being a bit more sort of cheeky and a bit blasé with them. It just felt a bit too on the knuckle for me, a bit too, I'd rather you leave that with the Doctor to do that and just sort of versatile his characteristics rather than sort of Rose being the Doctor in a sense. I get why they went down that road, because basically Rose Tyler is mimicking the Doctor. She, her time, the more time she is spending with the Doctor, the more she is becoming like him, which again is explored throughout season 2. But I'd rather they concentrated more on the sort of the serious sort of side of it rather than the sort of blasé jokiness of her characteristics. I also liked Maureen Lipman as The Wire. I thought she did a really good performance for the most part. I liked her more sort of juxtaposition of this sort of caring, soft British BBC voice that was definitely the style in the 50s, and sort of like that soft-spoken voice, even though she's being completely evil. I'm going to gobble you up now, children. I liked all that side of it, rather than when it got to a bit more of the hammier sort of side of it. And that's nothing against Maureen Lipman at all. She's a fantastic actress, and there's only so many ways you can say feed me and hungry like some kind of crazed alien of the week. So yeah, there's nothing really much more she could have done with that one, but I think personally they should have kept to the more sort of creepier element rather than the hungry over the top sort of elements that they drew on towards the end of the episode. Also quickly mention Ron Cook as Mr. Magpie. I thought he did a really good performance, really sort of played to his strengths. I felt that Mr. Magpie and The Wire, they were the double act in the episode with those two, and probably Maureen and Ron didn't really see each other when sort of filming these scenes. They probably just met each other during the read-through, and that was it. So I thought that was a testament more towards Ron and Maureen to a certain extent of their performances together, and Ron really selling the tortured soul of Mr. Magpie as well when being confronted by Rose Tyler. Yeah, he did a really good job. We also have the subplot with the Connolly family. So we have Eddie, who's pretty much being this high reputation king of his own castle, with his brown-beaten wife Rita and his teenage son Tommy. And they also live with Grandma Connolly, who turns out owns the house. So even though he's being the, I am the breadwinner, I am the head of the table type of, so to speak, it's actually the grandma that actually owned the house. And I did like the themes of it. I thought that all the actors were very memorable in their roles, especially between Eddie and Tommy as well. But again, actually, no, Rita as well. They were all brilliant, and I like those themes because that would have happened during the 50s. Sort of the end of the Second World War is still on people's minds. There's like this, you know, stiff upper lip reputation as well, but a bit misguided in a sense, and I like that sort of interaction between Eddie and Tommy, father and son. Tommy saying that you stood up for twerps like me to have these sort of ideologies, where Eddie's just trying to keep this reputation and the status quo. What I didn't like about this episode is when Rita gets the gusto to chuck Eddie out, and he's walking away from out of the street, out of the home during this big celebration of the Jubilee, of the coronation, sorry. And then Rose just sort of pipes up and says to Tommy, "Go to him, go to your father. He's your dad. You should be doing that." I disagree. Yes, eventually do that, but I felt that Eddie needed to be punished with what he did. He needs to go away, learn what he's done, and then sort of like hopefully fix things, patch things up with the family. I would have gone down that route more rather than just a straight sort of it's going to be all right type of thing with dad. So again, I get what they was going for, sort of going for that ending and that sort of choice of, hopefully, teach him the error of his ways. But I think I would have done it a bit of a different scene. I would have done it so it was kind of talked about by the Doctor and Rose to say to Tommy, don't forget about your father. Do reach out to him when you're ready, and teach him that there is another way in life. Then they can lean on what would have been essentially Eddie's choice. Would he have stuck to his guns and been stubborn, or would he actually learn the error of his ways, be you know teach himself that there is another way of life, and dealing with situations like this? Because yeah, I don't agree that, and you see this quite a few times on television serials, that, oh, they're your parents, you should always respect the parents and forgive and forget. Sadly, in reality, it doesn't work like that. I really do wish it does, but sometimes it doesn't. It no matter how, when people are that nasty or horrible, even if they are your parents or your loved ones, you're gonna have to cut. Sometimes cutting them out is the only answer. It doesn't have to be permanent or anything like that. But there's got to be a sense of time for them to go away and think about what they've done, and then if they want to come back and work it out and see the error of the ways, then that's brilliant. That's fantastic. But just to have that lasting image of Tommy, and I get what they were trying to do with sort of Tommy being the better person in a sense, but I kind of also felt that he was given the message of Eddie won't have learned anything. You kind of risking that sort of that his terrible deeds going unpunished. However, I am going to give The Idiot's Lantern a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. It is an entertaining story. It's a very easy to watch episode, I thought, for 45 minutes. It goes along at quite a quick pace. There's no real dull moments. And it's just basically trying to keep it of a more light-hearted story. I think because with it being sandwiched between the two-part Cyberman story we just had, and then you got the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit two-parter to follow. yeah, you sort of I can see why they're trying to keep it as light as possible. When it was funny, it's funny. I do like the sort of the jokiness between the Doctor and Rose, especially when they meet the Connolly family and the gag between about Rose's mum. That was quite good, and the hi, all that kind of stuff. I like that. Um, and yeah, it's a little bit cheesy when they start to talk about, oh my gosh, a portable television, a color television. You know, it's cheesy, but it's harmless at the same time. The only things for me was the sort of the I felt that they kind of didn't quite stick the landing with the story arc of the Connolly family and the Wire being a bit sort of more hammy towards the end. I think it would have been more better just to sort of keep her a little bit more maniacal and serious and a little bit scary. But it's kind of all each to their own. You know, some people love the more darker side of Doctor Who, and some people enjoy just the lighter side. And I think, given where it is in season two, we're sort of at the midway point, and the things sort of building up quite quickly towards the end of season two of Modern Doctor Who, I can understand why they just wants to keep it light and entertaining, but have those nice those themes regarding the Connolly family. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to the Idiot's Lantern. Where would you rank this episode with the rest of the episodes of Series 2 of Modern Doctor Who? And what would you do in Tommy's shoes? Would you have gone to Eddie? Would you have gone to his father like they did in the episode? Or do you agree with me, with my opinions, and would you sort of let Eddie sort of think about his punishments and what he has done? I'm really interested to know your thoughts of the whole Connolly family dynamics. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, we'll be going back to the Wild West with the first Doctor story, The Gunfighters. Importantly, a very happy 70th anniversary to Her Majesty the Queen for her 70th anniversary since her ascension to the throne. And let me know in the comments what you will be doing to celebrate this Platinum Jubilee. Will you be having street parties, or will you be doing something Doctor Who related? But for now, a huge thank you for everyone for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the cloister bell for more notifications, and say hello on my Twitter page at ReviewTimey. But until then, as a good doctor once said, rubber souls, swear by them.